Hi everyone, my name is Ahmad Hidayat. I am from class 19.2807 and I am a student at Bina Sarana Informatica University. Today I will be presenting a topic called Inside the Computer. I will explain the components inside a computer and what each part does. Let's get started. What is a computer? A computer is an electronic device designed to process documents or instructions or commands like a smartphone. Every computer follows the same basic model called input process output. Input: the computer uses the data to input device such as a keyboard or mouse. This device allows the user to provide commands or information to the computer. Process: the data is then processed by the computer central components, primarily the CPU (central processing unit). The CPU performs calculation and executions instructions to turn around the data into useful result. Output: after processes, the data is displayed through output device such as a monitor or speaker. Depending on the task at hand, this device delivers the result to the user in a readable or audible format. In short, the computer takes information, processes it, and shows us the result. Motherboard: the motherboard is the central circuit board inside a computer, connecting all the components together. It can be compared to the computer nervous system, as it places at the pathway for which data and power to flow between each component. Every computer needs a motherboard that functions as it holds and links the CPU, RAM, storage device, and other key components. CPU socket: this is where the processor (CPU) sits. The processor is in the brain of the computer, and the CPU sockets ensure it's properly connected to the motherboard. RAM slots: these slots hold the memory modules RAM. The amount of RAM installed directly affects how many programs can run simultaneously. Chipset: the chipset manages the data flow between the CPU, RAM, and other devices. It helps coordinate communication between the different parts of the system. BIOS or UEFI chip: this chip contains the startup instruction of the computer, allowing it to boot up and perform initial hardware checks when you power it on. Connector: the motherboard also includes various connectors like SATA port for connecting storage device, HDD, SSD, and PCI slot for expansion card, graphic card, and software card. Structure of the motherboard is size and layout, and its capabilities determine what components can be installed. For example, a small motherboard may only support a limited amount of RAM or full expansion card. CPU (Central Processing Unit). The CPU is the brain of the computer, executing instruction and calculation. Modern CPUs contain multiple cores for parallel processing. Important specifications include cut-off speed, number of cores, and touch size. The CPU handles everything from basic system operation to complex application. RAM, Random Access Memory. RAM is like the computer's short-term memory. It temporarily holds the data your computer is using right now. Unlike a hard drive, RAM uses all its data when the power is turned off. Having more RAM helps your computer run faster and handle more tasks at once. RAM comes in different types, like DDR3, DDR4, and DDR5, and its size is usually measured in gigabytes. Data storage: computer need permanent storage for the operating system, application, and file. HDD, hard disk drive. Mechanical storage with sliding doors, higher capacity at lower cost, but slower performance. SSD, solid state drive, no moving part, faster performance, but typically more expensive per gigabyte. Many computers use both and SSD for speed critical tasks and HDD for flash storage. Graphic card GPU. The GPU renders everything on your screen. Unlike CPU, designed for sequential tasks, GPU excels at parallel processing, ideal for reading graphics. Dedicated graphic cards include their own processor and memory fuel. GPU are crucial, not just for gaming, but also for video editing, 3D modeling, and AI applications. Power supply unit PSU. The PSU converts AC power from wall outlet into DC power at highest voltage for computer components. Key specifications include wattage, total power output, and efficiency rating 18 plus density titanium. A quality PSU protects components from power fluctuation and ensures system stability. Cooling system. Computer generate significant heat that must be managed to maintain performance. Cooling options include air cooling, using heatsink and fans to split heat, liquid cooling, circulation coolant to transfer heat away from the component. Vapor cooling prevents thermal throttling, automatic performance reduction, and extends component lifespan. Conclusion. To wrap up, all the components we've discussed like CPU, motherboard, RAM, input, and output device work together to form a fully functioning computer system. Each part plays a vital role and impact on the system work operated as intended. Today, we see incredible advancement in computer hardware. Devices are becoming smaller and more powerful. CPUs now having more cores to handle multitasking better. Memory is getting faster, and systems are being designed to use less energy for the greatest efficiency. That's the end of my presentation. I hope it helped you understand more about what is inside a computer and how it works. Thank you for listening. Hello everyone, today I will be talking about malicious program. Introduction to malicious program. Malicious programs, commonly known as malware. Malware has evolved significantly since the first computer virus in the 1980s. Today, these harmful programs affect millions of devices worldwide, causing financial damage, data loss, and privacy breaches for both individuals and large organizations. In this presentation, I will explain the different types of malware, how they spread, how to detect them, and most importantly, how to protect yourself from the spread. Types of malicious program. There are several types of malicious program we should be aware of. First, we have a virus. These are programs that attack themselves to the Internet files and spread when those files are shared or executed. They are like biological viruses, infecting one file after another. Next are worms. Unlike viruses, worms don't need to attach to other files. They can replicate themselves and spread across network without any user interaction. Trojans are destructive programs disguised as useful software. When you install what looks like a harmful app, you are actually installing harmful software without realizing it. Ransomware is a particularly dangerous. It encrypts your file and demands payment to restore access. Your data is essentially held hostage until you pay. Finally, spyware secretly monitor your activities and collect your personal information, which can be used for identity theft or other harmful purposes. how malware spreads. Understanding how malware spreads helps us prevent infection. Email attachments are common method. Attackers send malicious files hoping you open it. These often come with phishing attacks that trick you into thinking the email is legitimate. Infected websites can download malware automatically. When you visit them, now ask drive by download. USB drivers and modern remote mobile media can carry malware between computers, especially in environments where internet access is limited. Software vulnerabilities are weaknesses in programs that malware can exploit to gain access to your system. Social engineering involves manipulating people psychologically to bypass security measures. This might include pretending to be technical support or creating a sense of urgency to make you act without thinking. Signs of malware infection. How can you tell if your device is infected? Watch for this warning sign. Usually, slow performance is often the first indication. If your computer suddenly takes much longer to complete simple tasks, it might be infected. Unexpected pops-up and pattern vision, especially when you are not browsing the internet, strongly suggest malware. If your browser keeps redirecting you to unfamiliar website or your homepage changes without your permission, malware could be responsible. Missing or corrupted files that previously worked normally might indicate a malware attack. Finally, if you notice strange activities on your account, like calls you didn't make or protests you didn't authorize, your scheduled event might have been stolen by malware. Common attack vector. In fact, software vulnerabilities are like unblocked doors for attackers. Software companies regularly release updates to fix these vulnerabilities, but many users don't install them promptly. Weak passwords make it easy for attackers to gain unauthorized access. Simple password can be guessed or cracked quickly. Social engineering and phishing attacks by the technical defense by targeting human psychology. They trick users into revealing sensitive information or installing malware. Insecure network, especially public Wi-Fi, allow attackers to intercept communication or directly attack connected devices. Insider threats come from people within an organization who have legitimate access but misuse it either accidentally or intentionally. Malware prevention strategies. Now let's look at how to protect ourselves. Keeping our software updated is crucial. Updates often contain security patches that fix vulnerabilities. Using strong unique password for each account prevents attackers from gaining access to multiple accounts if one password is compromised. Installing reputable security software provides protection against known threats and suspicious behavior. Obeying caution with email attachment and links, not opening files or clicking a link unless you are sending they are set, even if they appear to come from someone you know. Regular data backup ensures that even if your files are encrypted by ransomware, you can restore them without paying ransom. Technical protection measures. Beyond basic prevention, these technical measures provide additional protection. manual monitor and control network traffic, blocking suspicious connected and helping prevent malware from communicating with its controllers. Endpoint protection solution protect individual devices with filters like antivirus scanning, behavior monitoring, and application control. Email filtering service can identify and quarantine suspicious messages before they reach your inbox. Multi-password authentication adds an extra layer of security by requiring something we know a password and something you have like smartphone to access on. Network segmentation limits the spread of malware by dividing network into separate sections. So, if one part is compromised, the entire network isn't affected. Responding to malware incident. If you suspect a malware infection, take this step immediately. Disconnect your device from all network to prevent the malware from spreading or sending your data to attackers. Run a full system scan using up-to-date security tools to identify and remove the malware. Report incidents to your IT security team if you are in organization's now setting, as the infection might affect others. If available, restore your system from clean backups made before the infection. After solving the incident, review what happened and strengthen your security practice to prevent similar incidents in the future. Case studies. Let's look at two significant malware attempts and what we can learn from them. WannaCry was a 2017 ransomware attack that affected over 200,000 computers across 150 countries. It targeted a Windows vulnerability that Microsoft had already patched, highlighting the importance of installing updates. NotPetya, also from 2017. NotPetya, also from 2017, caused over 10 billion in damage worldwide, while initially appearing to be ransomware. Its main purpose was actually to cause disruption. This approach teaches us that basic security practices like regular updates and backup code have prevented much of the damage. They also show how quickly malware can be spread globally, affecting critical infrastructure and services. Conclusion and research. To summarize, protection against malware requires a combination of technical solutions and awareness. Keep your software updated, use strong password, install security software, be concerned with email, and maintain regular backup. Security isn't a one-time effort, but an ongoing process. Staying informed about current threats and regularly reviewing your security practice is essential. Thank you for listening to my presentation about inside the computer and malicious program. I hope it helped you understand more about how computer works and how to stay safe from harmful software. Goodbye.